So something spooky happened to me in Japan. Get ready for a butergolpo, Obake no hanashi. Yeah. If you followed me on Instagram or you followed me for a couple of years, you know that whenever I travel or whenever I go to Japan, I post my stories on a daily basis and I post everything because a lot of people like to live vicariously through me. I've just been doing this for like over a decade now. But sometime like during the middle of my trip, I stopped posting, and this is the reason why. So this time in Japan, I was mostly staying in Kyoto, and my girl Rina picked me up from my hotel in Kyoto. We had a really fun day. We drove up to the mountains in Kifune. We went to that really awesome restaurant right on top of the river where you can see waterfalls and stuff. We went to Kifune Jinja, which is the shrine. And then we drove back down, not really to town, but kind of like suburbs of Kyoto area, to a ryokan. We checked into the ryokan and we had some time before dinner and before the baths were open, so we went to Kinkakuji, which is the golden temple, the golden shrine. We went back to the ryokan and we took a bath and we had dinner, and everything was great, super delicious. Everything was awesome. Before I came to Japan, like, Rina was super like nervous about hanging out with me. She's been going through some mental health issues, to be frank. She's been having like frequent, panic attacks and things like that. So I was really worried for her, but at the same time I was confident that I would be, the perfect friend to be with her and help her out, should a panic attack occur. So I thought that going to a ryokan together, seeing nature, would be just the best thing, because we both love to hang out and see, these beautiful sights and things like that. Ryokans are typically really relaxing. A ryokan is a Japanese traditional hotel. Can get like full meals, like breakfast and dinner as a part of it. They give you yukata, and you can just, have a really good time there. That's what we were expecting. Okay, I had to go bring this kitty because he was crying. You sit. Mama tells story now, okay? After our baths, we put on our yukatas, we had dinner, and honestly, as soon as we got to the room, we got tired. In a ryokan, you're sleeping on futon, right? Yoga time. Rina chose her futon closest to the table, and mine was closest to the closet. And when I say the closet, I mean that closet where you store futons, the one that Doraemon sleeps in. So anyways, I want to make a point that, like, before I went to Kyoto, I went to Kyushu on the southern tip in an area called Kagoshima in the countryside. I stayed at my friend's house, and when I was there, I saw a lot of abandoned houses. Like, if you know, in Japan, there's so many abandoned houses with, like, the population declining, people moving to cities. There are a lot of abandoned houses in the countryside, and I saw so many of them. I saw literal houses that were broken down, and my friend and I were discussing, like, it's kind of creepy, right? But at the same time, like, I didn't feel like anything weird. Like, we said iyana kanji. There was none of that. Like, I felt fine at her house, even though there was an abandoned house next to it. Like, I didn't feel anything creepy about it. And I asked her, like, is there any obake, nearby? She's like, I haven't heard of any. Like, how do you feel here? I was like, no, I don't feel anything bad at all. But that night in the ryokan, on my futon that is right next to Doraemon's closet, I did feel sort of iyana kanji. Like, I felt a kind of a bad feeling. Sometimes when you have a bad feeling, it's because you had a bad thought. And when I thought about the closet, I also thought about that kid from The Grudge, because he was also in the closet, right? I just kind of recited Ayatul Kursi and fell asleep, and Rina fell asleep, and we turned off the lights. Then, at 1:30 a.m. that night, the TV turned on. That's right, the TV turned on by itself.